We have a quorum, so I'll call our meeting to order. This morning, we will be looking at 4 different advice and consent nominations. I've asked Senator Hill, our vice chair, to handle these for me. So first, I will call up, we're going to skip around a little bit. I'm going to call up Senate nomination number 24 for Thomas Allen Wicker of Tupelo to the ITS Authority for a 5-year term, beginning now and ending June 30, 2025. Senator Hill.
Thank you. I have spoken with Mr. Wicker, and his intention is to serve on the IT Services Board, and there is nothing untoward in his background that would preclude him from fulfilling that role. I believe that he is on Zoom. If anybody would have a question for Mr. Wicker, I would ask you to pose it at this time.
Any questions from the committee?
If not, my motion is to advise and consent.
Motion is advise and consent. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. We will move this to the full chamber. Thank you. Next, Senate nomination number 23, Donald Brown of Vicksburg to the Mississippi State Personnel Board to serve for the state at large, a 5-year term beginning immediately and ending June 30, 2025. Again, I'll recognize Senator Hill.
Thank you. I have also spoken to Mr. Brown about his intentions to serve, and there is nothing that we have found in his background or that he has disclosed that would make him not an appropriate candidate to serve, and I believe he is also on Zoom if anybody would have a question for Mr. Brown.
Any questions from the committee for Mr. Brown? Senator Hobson.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Just to let you know, Mr. Brown is a friend, and he has served the state ably in this capacity and others over the years. He's an outstanding leader in our community and will do an excellent job if appointed, if confirmed, rather.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Appreciate that, Senator Hobson. I did have a good conversation. I felt like Mr. Brown was also a good candidate. So my motion would be to advise and consent.
Motion is advise and consent. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. We will move it to the full chamber. Thank you. Next, Senate nomination number 47, Scott Roach Shoemaker of Jackson to the Mississippi State Personnel Board, effective immediately and ending June 30, 2023. He will be representing the 1st Supreme Court District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a new nomination. I've spoken with Scott on Friday and discussed his intent to serve on this board. We have looked at the peer reports concerning him, and the only thing that we can find is one open civil suit, and he is in the construction business, and we discussed this. This is the first time he has ever been a defendant in any type of suit, and his description of this was just a difference of opinion. So this is still open, has not been solved yet, but it is my opinion that this would not preclude him from serving, but he is on Zoom, and that he would be glad to answer any questions that any of the members might have.
Any questions? If not,
There are no questions. My motion would be to advise and consent.
motion is to advise and consent. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. And the motion carries. We will move it to the full chamber. Next, Senate nomination number 61, Colonel Nick Paul Ardillo of Columbus, Mississippi to the State Personnel Board to represent the 3rd Supreme Court District for a 5-year term beginning July 1 and ending June 30, 2026. Senator Hill.
Thank you. I've also spoken with Colonel Ardillo, and it is his intent to serve on this board. He has nothing in his background that we can find that would preclude him from serving. And like I said, he is willing to serve. I don't think he is on Zoom. Some of these are reappointments. Cannot remember if this is a reappointment or not, but yes, this is a reappointment. So he has already been serving on this board, so if there are no questions, my motion would be to advise and consent.
Any questions? If not, the motion is advised and consent. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. We will take that to the full Senate. And now last, but certainly not least, is Senate nomination number 29, David Charles Johnson from Flowwood, Executive Director of the Mississippi Department of ITS, term effective November 1st, 2020. Mr. Johnson, if you would come to the podium so our committee can get a good look at you and ask you some questions. And with that, I'll turn it over to Senator Hill.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming out on this nasty day today. Glad you made it here safely. If there are any members of the board that would like to, committee that would like to ask him a question, now is your time.
Questions? Senator Blunt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I don't want to take a lot of the committee's time, but I would like to hear from you for just a few minutes on why you want this job and what you see as the opportunities and challenges that ITS is dealing with right now. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Madam Chair and committee. I want this job, your first question, because I want to continue my service to state government. I've had the privilege and opportunity to serve in state government at two fantastic agencies for just under 25 years now. The last 14 or 15 or so have been here at ITS, served under the leadership of two nationally recognized executive directors in David Lichleiter and Dr. Craig Ogeron. The opportunities and challenges that we have at ITS are very apparent with technology being pervasive across all of our lives today. Nothing brought this to the forefront more than the pandemic that we've been encountering over the last year and the challenges associated with that. Well, those challenges have accelerated the need and the use of technology across government and across the services that we provide to our citizens. So one of the things that's really important in what we have in front of us is securing the data that we collect in state government that really belong to the citizens themselves. And I think the challenge is to continue to provide great service.
I'm looking for Jeff Schultz, please.
To continue to provide great service in keeping our agencies and our citizens connected while still maintaining the ability to keep them and that data protected. So cybersecurity is obviously at the top of our list for what we have in front of us, and we're trying to meet that head on today.
Thank you. Other questions? I do have one. In your background investigation, and this may have been taken care of, it doesn't look like you have secured the $50,000 surety bond that's required. Can you tell us the status of that?
Yes, sir. That has been done.
That's been done. Okay, thank you. Other questions? Okay. Do I have a motion?
Motion is do advise and consent.
Motion is advise and consent. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. We will present your nomination to the full chamber also. Thank you for being here.
Thank you all very much.
Do I have any other motions? Rise and report.